Hello! It is soon. Hello, Pixel, Papa Stalin, Hudson. Welcome, everyone, to DobbsQuest Season 1, Episode 11. Our adventures continue tonight. Joining me, as always, we have, playing the part of Serene, the Elven Bard, we have Daysnick.
Hello!
The ever-sneaky Glane, played by GameCube.
Let's get dangerous.
And the recently suffering from power outage and therefore on mobile, Lurking Turtle Gaming, playing the part of Torgan.
It's like I've been blinded.
That's him coming through on the tin can. All right, well, tonight, as if you recall from last episode, tonight features a rematch against an old foe. So, a quick recap of what all is going on here. Ironsworn is a tabletop role-playing game where these three players make decisions on how their adventure proceeds in the world that we lay out. We roll dice, consult tables, and hopefully that means that things go good, but sometimes they don't, and we have to make hard decisions. So, after a whirlwind of adventures over the past 6 episodes or so, our team has returned to Greatfield, a city they left weeks, months ago, after a failed battle against a dreaded beast called a molsk. In a somewhat reckless, somewhat heroic act, Glane brought Serene and Torgan through the shadows into a place of darkness called the Veil to escape the creature's killing blow. It took some time, but they managed to escape the Veil, but wound up miles and miles away from where they had left. And so now they have fought their way back, and upon getting back to Greatfield, hopefully tonight they plan to confront... Good call, GameCube. To confront the molsk and see it defeated forever. Thank you for reminding me. One of these days, I'm going to set that up to be based on day of the week or something. Oh, there it is. All right. Command removed. And thank you, Day and Hudson, for the $20 going to Camp Horizon for tonight's stream. And so, I think we're all set to begin tonight. So let's get going. When we left off last time, you guys had taken a moment to rest up in Greatfield, I believe. And let's see here. How are we doing stat-wise? Momentum is great. Supply topped off. Spirit, health, all completely full. The settlement of Greatfield did not hold it against you that things fell through last time. We rolled for that, and it turned out we're on good terms still. They still think of you fondly as friends of the community. Your bond is stronger than ever, and they are still hoping, however, that you will finish what you've started. Now, Torgan had been doing some sleuthing of sorts. I believe it was Torgan that had tried to find, is there some kind of known molsk deterrent, something specific that can ward off a molsk, weaken it in some way. And he found some information about something that could help with that, but it requires some very difficult to gather materials. And so it was not available. We rolled to see if maybe he could get a hold of it, get this item somehow, did not pan out. So right now we are at the point where we are in Greatfield. We have no anti-molsk spray of any kind, and there is a known molsk roaming through the forest that managed to escape from the hunting party that was sent to destroy it. So it is still out there. The nest is destroyed. Torgen, Glane, and Serene saw to that on their first encounter with it. And in so doing, they learned that the large boulder that seemed to be around the nest was in fact the molsk itself. It is a massive behemoth of a creature. All right, so team, what is your plan from here?
Unless we have any business in town, the next step would be to head towards the last known position of the Bolsk.
All right, makes sense. We're going to seek it out. Now, you've already been to those woods before. They're just a little ways north of Greatfield, and you do remember the way quite well, so you won't need to roll to see if you can, find your path or anything. The road is relatively safe. The settlement of Greatfield and a few other surrounding settlements ensure that this area is well protected for the most part. Very little threat of roving bandits or creatures of the dark. All right, and you've already completely stocked up, and I believe even Serene has poison-tipped arrows at the ready. Mm-hmm. Torgen, your armor set up. You always have the choice between how you are armored, lightly armored or geared for war.
Yeah, I should probably gear for war.
All right. So before heading out, Torgen straps on all the extra plating he always has available. He adjusts all of the set pieces and all weak points covered. Now, as a result, he is encumbered now, so he cannot. His momentum caps out a little bit lower than everyone else's. But on the upside is that he's able to more effectively roll with the punches during combat.
I would also like to paint a picture of a molsk on my shield, ×2.
Oh, 2 molsks. All right, so when you paint your shield with a meaningful symbol, envision what you create. If you endure stress as you face off against a fearsome foe, you may add +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit. So if you need to endure stress during this fight, you will have a small advantage there. All right, I think that means it's time to move in. All right. So,
and as we move in, I remind the group that even though we know the way, the path forward might be different because the trail that the molsk leaves that very poisonous slime trail that
Acid.
we had to deal with. That where it was before is not going to be there, but there may be new areas that are poisoned by it. So we need to watch our step.
The dreaded molsk secretes a corrosive slime wherever it travels, making the terrain very hazardous once you get closer.
Did you say goodbye to the kid, Glane, that you've accidentally befriended along the way?
I did not.
And thrown once.
We just Irish goodbye that down.
Throwing children for content. Let's see here. The other thing was... yes. Okay, well, we'll play out Blade Bound, I think, once we begin the combat, because that will affect your Enter the Fray move, Turtle. So we'll be ready for that. All right. So, the three adventurers set out from Greatfield, well-stocked and prepared, in high spirits and optimistic, cautiously optimistic about the battle ahead. Setting out early in the morning, they begin their travels over the old rocky ground around Greatfield. A lot of this portion of the Ironlands is more arid, less well vegetated. It's a bit more of a stark landscape compared to some of the other places you've traveled, but this dense forest up ahead, full of greenery. So the familiar path between the two neighboring settlements around Greatfield, after crossing that road, you enter into this evergreen forest. A lot of pine needles sort of littering the ground that have a dry crunch beneath your feet as you make your way into the shadows of the forest here. The familiar downward slope, the gradient of this terrain, sort of calls back the memories of that fateful day where you first faced the molsk. Knowing that somewhere in this basin is where you first encountered it. Now, where it will be today, uncertain, but hopefully you are able to find it. So let's start with, we're going to roll a gather information check. I think we need to determine where this thing is, and so that means you guys are going to be following track, searching an area. This is definitely a roll of wits. So typically that's going to be it's going to fall on Serene. Oh, but a miss. Oh, Your investigation unearths a dire threat or reveals an unwelcome truth that undermines your quest. Pay the price. All right. Let's pull out the oh so fun pay the price table. This is an excellent first roll of the game tonight. So let's see here. A nice 30. The value lost or destroyed. Okay. So this sounds to me as though we're going to lose a little bit of one of our tracks here. It sounds like from this that this is going to be represented by a loss of supply. That the exact nature of what happens here is that let's see, is this already the Molsk Trail we're stumbling upon? I think maybe some of the corrosive acid, a fresh layer of pine needles is camouflaging the Molsk's acid trail. So you guys have made your way down into the basin, and right away, as you step down on what appears to be perfectly safe ground, a lot of the underbrush and the sort of mulched, decayed plant matter gives way, and right away you realize that this is the Molsk Trail that you've gone right through, and as a result of that sort of decay going on, I think this is going to be Serene is sort of leading the way here, loses her footing, but as a result has sort of lost a bit of supplies. Maybe this is just a handful of arrows, a little bit of rations, this sort of mundane items that is not going to cause you to need to turn around, but unfortunately that does kind of drop your team's supply value a little bit. So Torgan and Glane sort of grab you and keep you from sort of sinking down into the this sort of stewing mixture of half-melted branches and needles. And you can kind of just barely see a slight discoloration, but it's very slight. So you can follow this trail, but it's difficult to keep track of.
This is not how I intended to find how we were going to track this thing.
At least it doesn't get the drop on us.
That's true. At least you can swing a positive out of it. That if nothing else, you do have a trail to follow.
Let's give it a wide buffer so that we don't clip the edge of it, and let's follow it in the direction it seems to be going.
All right. Well, let's see. If we're going to follow the track, it doesn't seem like we're going to need to roll for this. This is a very obvious track to follow. Keeping cautious. We're going to continue working around it. So I think, let's see, does that mean that from here we find the molsk? Let's give this, I'm going to say 50-50 on this. 51 or above, and this trail leads us right to the molsk. No, it does not.
Good lord.
A slight complication. Tricky thing is that you don't know which way the molsk is traveling. And as you continue through the woods, you start to realize you're not getting anywhere. It dawns on you that you don't know which way the molsk has been going. It's entirely possible that, you've been following this trail for an hour, getting nowhere. It could be that this thing was going the opposite direction. You don't know which direction this trail goes. None of you are well versed enough on molsk biology to really understand if, does the molsk control this trail in some way? Like, does it sort of have agency on how much to leave as sort of a defensive measure? Can it not do that to hide its tracks in a sense? With all these unknowns, you're not really sure if this is even the right way. Now that's an unwelcome truth.
Does the trail at this point seem to be getting less, like, toxic? Like, maybe this is drying out, or this is wearing off, or does it seem more potent? Because there's also like a smell that goes with this, isn't there?
It's
Yes,
very
there's-
potent stench.
Yes. This whole forest sort of reeks of this sort of sweet, rotting stench. So let's see here. I'll let Glane. Why don't you roll a gather information check? We'll see if we're gonna conduct an investigation here and determine if you can make heads or tails based on sort of the level of decay. If you can sort of gain some information there.
Is that a wits?
Yes, and for you that'll be Iron Roll 2. Oh my goodness.
Okay. Let's get these out of the way now.
Yeah, getting the bad rolls out first. Oh my. Well. 92. Oh.
Huh.
It forces you to act against your best intentions. Your own investigation unearths a dire threat or an unwelcome truth that is forcing you to act against your best intentions. Well, your intent here is to save Greatfield by destroying the molsk. Why would you be forced to act against that in some way? I don't like that.
Blaine, are you trying? Glenn, are you trying to fall in love with the molsk? I'll tell you, do not befriend that molsk.
Glenn, why would you want to? Why you gained some information here that's putting you in a tight spot in some way. Ooh, I don't want to
Maybe-
tug that plot thread.
Maybe I've known that we've been going the wrong way the whole time, and based on how things went last time, I'm fine with that.
Oh. Now, is this because Glenn does not want to engage the molsk for his own safety? Or is perhaps this he's wanting to protect the team, thinking we're not ready for this? We just gotta bide some time until we give up and go home.
I mean, I wasn't having these feelings until 4 seconds ago, but the dice is dice, so we're here now. So it's probably a little bit of both.
Well, maybe another perspective on that. Maybe we realize that looking at this, maybe we realize there's a potency difference between when we last saw the molsk, and maybe we think that maybe we're concerned that our current weapons or supplies are not sufficient, and we're faced with having to consider, going back empty-handed in order to maybe attempt to be better prepared.
The molsk has gotten stronger.
Or no, I'm not going to feed the DM. Never mind.
Oh,
I have a.
hang on. All right. The molsk has laid another clutch of eggs.
Oh, horse.
Something about the something about your examination of the track. Exactly what you found, we're not sure, but Glenn is pretty certain that the molsk has laid more eggs.
There's some of that special goop.
Yeah, that's
In
special
the-
goop.
So that's the thing. Everything else we said is out the window.
Yeah, more or less.
Okay.
Or perhaps the idea now is your original intention was we get in, we destroy the molsk, we get out. But now
The stakes have changed.
you found some different information that if you keep going down this trail, yes, you can face the molsk. But you may or may not find the eggs.
Well, I mean, now we have to, if we leave this unchecked, there's just going to be more molsks later.
It's true.
Right now,
Yeah.
there may just be the one. If we leave and come back, we could be fighting 8 of them. Or who knows how many of them.
They breed very quickly. They were once used as livestock.
That's canon. I've got it written down
We talked
somewhere.
about that before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, they never let them get, to full size.
So is the thought that we might be heading towards the molsk, but the eggs might not be in the same direction?
That's the general idea.
Because we have a path here. So if we find the molsk, we can backtrack the trail and likely find the eggs.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully the eggs are somewhere along its previous path.
Press on then?
I think we have to.
Whatever we find at the other end of the thing has to die. Whether we find the eggs first or the molsk first.
Yeah. Something's dying.
And we've only been gone a few weeks. If there's already another clutch, that's very concerning. Does anybody know how fast they can produce clutches of eggs?
I hope these things can generate eggs on their own. Otherwise, there's a second mollusk around here that is the dad.
Yeah, no, they're mollusks. They it only takes one.
It's even more concerning. All right. So I think we push on. Onward and inward to the forest.
Onward and molluskward.
Moleskward. All right. I think at this point there's no escaping it. The mollusk can't outrun your pursuit. Your steady tracking.
It probably doesn't want to. It wants to eat us.
I mean, probably. Now it doesn't know it's being followed. As far as it knows, it's the biggest, toughest, top of the food chainest thing in this forest. So there's going to be a fight.
Well, I mean, that might not be incorrect. We don't know yet.
Yeah. Well, then I think we're going to have to encounter a mollusk now. I think the mollusk is here now.
Are you sure we're not going to wander around in the forest for another 30 minutes?
I don't think so. I think we're going to fast forward through that part and proceed directly unto mollusk fight. So
be it.
The adventurers proceed through the forest, following the tracks, wary of the several outcroppings of rocks that are sort of litter this forest. In many ways, it's the perfect camouflage for the mollusk. Anything could be the mollusk. And so being cautious to give every potential threat a wide berth until there's a certainty that is not the quarry. Continue to steadily make your way through until you spot this creature, this towering boulder-like beast. Two thick eye stalks protruding from one end. The creature is sort of reared back, sort of just tearing down an entire branch of a tree with a mouth-like appendage, this gaping maw that just sort of rips the tree, branch, needles and all, straight off to begin eating it. It definitely sees you as well, though. There's no chance here of ambush. This thing is ready to fight. Perhaps it knows the scent. Perhaps it recognizes a trio. But it knows it wants to see those three things over there dead. And so immediately this creature is ready for battle.
Uh-oh.
All right. It's time. Intimidating branch rip. All right. So, Serene, Glane, and Torgan, your quarry stands before you. What do you do?
Are we standing as a group, or are we standing kind of away from each other?
I'd say
I imagine we would have approached in a close net formation, trying to make sure that we didn't miss any signs on the path, but staying close enough together that we weren't going to be within 2 or 3 paces of one another.
Like one good charge, he's not going to like bowl all three of us over. Like we're a little spaced out.
No, presumably you're far enough apart.
Like fanned out a bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
At this distance, I just want to pull out my crossbow and take a shot.
All right.
Try to lay down some damage before it gets anywhere near us.
Let's do it. So you're going to need to enter the fray. All right. So you are facing off against your foe. Therefore, you need to roll heart. Glaine's worst stat. So iron roll 1. Ooh, a hefty miss. So on a miss, combat begins with you at a disadvantage. Pay the price, and your foe has the initiative. So immediately, Glaine is on the back leg here.
That sounds very disheartening.
It does, doesn't
I
it?
was aiming at the eye. It's a very nimble target.
Yeah, at this point, let's see here. So this is you just trying to enter into combat, and we have determined that the Molsk is sort of taking control in this fight against Glaine. So right off the bat, Glaine is preparing to fire his weapon, but the Molsk is already beginning to charge. Immediately, flashbacks to the previous encounter with this creature. The sheer scale of it was sort of, pushed away consciously, but now it's just flooding back. So I think for pay the price, we're just going to do a light endure stress here. This is endure stress. Move, endure stress. So I think this is just mental shock of all those memories returning. So give me an iron roll 4. Okay. You can either take 1 momentum or put your spirit back at 5 in exchange for a momentum.
What was the first one?
Gain 1 momentum. Your
Oh,
momentum's
gain
either okay. All right. So, all these terrible memories flooding back, but you shake it off and you kind of steel your resolve and prepare to face off against the creature. So, you're firing with your crossbow, but the creature is quickly advancing on you. So you'll be rolling edge for a clash move here.
Can I take a special action here?
Oh, of course.
This is one of the things that I'd hoped for. Because I did pick up the caltrip.
Mm-hmm.
It's charging at me. So I would like to throw it in between myself and the Molsk.
All right.
And I have two of these, and if they don't break, I can continue to use them.
Okay. So I'm going to say that's secure an advantage with Shadow. So you can roll an iron roll 3 here. Strong
Okay,
hit. So on a strong hit, you can make another move with a +1. So now for that clash, which previously was going to be an iron roll 2, is now going to become an iron roll 3. So you chuck one of these specially made Molsk caltrops, basically just a bunch of metal welded together. You just throw that as hard as you can while you prepare your to line up your first shot from the crossbow. So the Molsk sort of like catches into it, and you can see it kind of rear back, like all of its sort of fleshy, muscly appendage sort of just tenses up as it as it begins to go right over it. So it seems like it's maybe pierced the creature's hide, or at the very least taken it off balance just a little bit. So now roll Iron Roll 3, and let's see exactly what happens here. But it gives you an opening where you take the shot, and there it is. Oh, and look at that, a perfect strong hit. Inflict your harm and choose 1. Harm inflicted, but also you may either take +1 momentum, which you can't even do. You've already maxed out, so you are dealing additional harm, and you take back the initiative. So you manage to land a shot on the molsk. It doesn't hit it right in the eye as you were hoping for, but it does sort of the creature is off balance from this maneuver you've pulled here. Meanwhile, Serene.
I'm going to go ahead and take a 5-foot step in the away from Ghislaine direction.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Round 0.
Trying to
and
yeah.
Just spreading out the target pattern a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to knock an arrow.
All right. Let's start
my
with
option.
let's start with Enter the Fray with Iron Roll 1, and this is just going
what kind of arrow?
Oh.
Are you sure?
Regular for now.
Okay.
This is going to go poorly.
Oh, I'm sure it's fine.
Oh, hey!
Ooh. Well, that's like
And a
the
match.
best possible.
I rolled a 2.
You did,
and
and
it's
it
double
worked.
1.
All right, so you enter the fray. Strong
Thank
hit
you, bot.
for +2 momentum, which you already have, but more importantly, you have the initiative. So immediately you have a great position against this thing. While Ghislaine is distracting the molsk, Serene clambers back to try and find a spot to get a better, more advantageous shot. Immediately, she finds one of these nearby boulders. She's able to scramble up quickly. The moss adding just enough friction, just enough of a handhold that she's able to spring up on top and take an excellent position against this creature. And as a result, she has the initiative against the molsk as well. So she knocks that arrow, and you have the asset Archer.
I do.
Which means if you want to take a moment to aim, you can secure an advantage here with an extra +1. Basically, this is just a chance to have, if you can strong hit this secured advantage, it's an extra +1 on your attack. Or you can just go
momentum's at
straight
max,
into
so that part doesn't really matter.
That is true. There's less to gain. If you want, you can just go straight for the strike.
Yeah, well,
What's the chance that that +1 would matter? Honestly.
good. Okay, so we're gonna try for wits, I guess. Oh, where are we?
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Okay.
I've got it pulled up elsewhere.
Wits for me is 3. Secure an advantage.
Oh.
No advantage.
No advantage. Well, it would have been a miss on the strike then if you had succeeded. All right. So that's not great, but so that means that is the secure an advantage move did not work.
I'm trying to aim, and I've got mostly shell to aim at. There's no good place to try and put an arrow.
Yeah, so your
So-
aiming is not really helping. You've just got to let the arrow fly and hope
And
for the
hope
best
it
here.
causes enough distraction for Torgen and Glane to get in there.
Exactly. All right, so you can go for the strike with edge. But I'm gonna say that the time you spend kind of preparing the aim, it kind of eats in your momentum just a little bit, but you're still on the right track.
Iron roll, edges. Okay. No.
Ooh, but that is also a miss on a strike. Your attack
And
fails.
there's nothing I can do about it, even with momentum.
Ooh. Well, you can turn it into a weak hit. You've got 9 momentum banked. A 9 would beat the 8. So you can at least change that into a weak hit.
Right now, I'm still in a really secure position, though. This isn't a life or death roll,
Right. Okay.
so I'm gonna hold on to that 9 for a minute.
Okay.
Might be better used on a more critical strike than this.
Yeah. This is. Hey, look at me! I'm a distraction! So. It doesn't matter if that didn't work out too well. Like, that's okay.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm basically like, okay, don't look at Torgen so he can stab you more effectively.
Okay, so you take the shot, but it glances off the creature's hard outer shell, and so you're sort of preparing to take another shot. You're looking for your next opening, and I think what's going on here is the creature has sort of spotted you, because it remembers from last time sort of that, oh, that thing fires these stinging thorns from a distance, and so it's sort of.
I learned this time though I'm on a rock, not in a tree.
Yes. But the fact that it's facing you down now, and it's sort of got you in its sights, you're now sort of on the defensive here. You know that this thing can very easily just strike back at you, and so.
Yeah. I'm a safe enough distance still. It would have to move first. And if it has to turn and move, then that presents an opportunity for Torgen. So I don't consider that I don't necessarily consider that a bad outcome.
Yeah. Ultimately, though, you've sort of lost the advantage that your sort of sneaky high ground had. Aside from you still have a little bit of height on the creature, if nothing else. And then we have Torgen. Now, Torgen has a new bonus here that's going to help him out, that he got the last time that he. Oh no. Okay, I may not have that one. That's a blade. Oh, because the hyphen. All right, and he took the first item on that. When you enter the fray while wielding your kin blade, add +1 and take +1 on a hit. So Torgen is preparing to enter the fray. And so he is rolling with heart, which already gets him a +3 on his roll, but because of his blade-bound ability, it becomes a +4. So Torgen draws the sword that he has received from Zura of Greatfield, and this sword is, as he's slowly learning that this sword is not just some mundane blade, but in some ways this sword sort of contains the spirit of Zura's ancestors, and so in this act of Torgen standing up to face off against this creature that threatens Zura and his family, their homeland. The blade sort of guides itself towards the Molsk, just ever so slightly, but Torgon feels this connection, this sort of otherness about the sword.
For flavor?
No, it gives him a +1 on his Enter the Fray roll.
Yeah. For flavor, though, story flavor. We said that people got injured in the battle with where after the Molsk snacked on us and we escaped. It then fought some town people. So maybe Zora was one of the people that was injured, and maybe that was who I was working on trying to get fixed up when I did that heal check at the end of last session.
Okay.
And Torgon would have been there for that with his special sword.
Special sword.
So, that adds some...
It makes sense. It all adds up.
Yeah. It woke up the sword.
Yes. The sword is awoken. And so, and someone needs to roll on Turtle's behalf, because he's on mobile.
It hasn't been going well for me.
That's true. Maybe we get GQ to do this one.
I can't hear Turtle. Is he there?
I am, yeah.
Okay, just making sure. It's been a long time since we've heard.
All right, so let's
So
get
this
an
is a
iron
+4
roll
then.
4. Yes. Oh, +4. Always a good thing to have.
Except here.
You can blame GameCube, Turtle.
What happens?
A miss.
You rolled a 5 against a 7 and a 9.
How much momentum do I have?
Not enough.
7.
Okay, well, I have no choice.
Yeah, I mean that's the nice
Almost
thing at least is there's no choice here. You are on the defensive immediately. So what is Torgon gonna do here? He draws his blade, prepared for combat. But the creature, of course, the Molsk, it's faster than it looks like it should be. Are you just gonna go for the throat here?
Oh, yeah. I'm just gonna. You know what? I'm still mad at this Moss from last time, and I just want to just hack at it. Just
All right.
right for the gooey parts.
I love it. Get those gooey parts. All right. In that case, it's going to be an iron roll 2. GameCube, give us that one for Turtle. So this is a clash. So he's sort of holding his shield. He's got his sword. He's kind of preparing himself. He's kind of taking a few steps back because he wants to time this slash just right. And he remembers kind of the massive amount of force behind this huge creature. And so this massive thing just barrels right into him, and Torgon stands strong with his shield, sort of slashes at this creature's thick, leathery, slimy hide. And he does manage to cut into the creature's flesh. But also Torgon is sort of knocked off balance by the sheer force of it. So let's do face danger, but he's got his shield as cover. As a shield bearer, he gets an extra bonus here. This is forceful defense, so he's gonna roll with iron plus an additional 1, so an iron roll 3. So he's trying to hold himself up. Oh no!
That's not fair. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
Turtle, double 10s.
That's ridiculous.
Nothing I could have done about that.
The bad guy's got a match, and it's bad.
Yeah, so I think right off the bat here,
Torgon is evaporated.
Torgon's hurt. Torgon is hurt. Now he's geared for war though, so when he endures harm in a fight, he gets to add an additional 2 to his roll. So he's going to be making an iron roll 4.
Maybe
Turtle luck in full effect.
All right. All right. It's all right. He's okay, folks. He's okay. Well, on a miss, also suffer -1 momentum. And that's it. That's it. Because you're not at 0 health, so you're all right.
Oh.
We're good. Don't pay attention. Don't pay attention to all the times that the word death appears on this card. It's not applicable right now. All right. Things have taken a turn. So,
Turtle, just so you know, the Molsk just bitch slapped you down to 2 health.
What?
From a 5. Yeah.
but don't worry. I mean, you can still handle at least 2 more hits like that before anything terrible happens. Then terrible things start happening. So, there's that. Okay. It was a match on the attack, and it had to get a little bit more drastic. Okay. Glane, you still have initiative. You are the only person who still has initiative. You're the one that has the best footing right now. So the creature is drawn towards the arrows that Serena's throwing. Torgan steps in, attacks the creature, slices it up a good bit, but gets absolutely just thrown to the forest floor. He just tumbles across the pine needle, sliding a surprising distance from the blow of this creature just basically ramming into it. Now he had his shield out. He's not covered in molsk slime or anything like that. But he's hurt. It could
Question:
be.
Did you mark harm on the molsk for the last time it got hit? Is it still at 2.5?
Let's see here. That was 3 and 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, three ticks for Ghislaine's attack, and I believe Serene missed, and then 2 for Torgan.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we're doing in half ticks. Okay.
That's correct, just because of the rank of this foe. Extreme.
Okay.
All right, so Ghislaine. The creature is sort of rampaging, but it seems not to currently be taking too much of a concern with you. You've kind of got the upper hand right now, represented by you having the initiative. So what are you gonna do?
Anything that I do to it, where am I, like, physically in relation to it? Am I still kind of in front of it, or am I kind of at one of its sides? Based on its
I think with Serene's attack kind of drew it away, and so you've kind of sidestepped it a bit here, and you've kind of
basically flanking it at this point, aren't we?
I think so. I think you guys kind of have it surrounded, if you can call it that, when one of you is on the ground.
Okay. So am I in a position where if I were to take a swing at it with my dagger, I could consider it unsuspecting?
I think we can pull that off for this one.
It doesn't see me?
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. Now, this thing has eyes on stalks that can swing around pretty easily, but
right. Well,
I think you can get at least 1 on it.
Am I in a position where I would be able to jump onto the point of its shell that connects to the head? Where it doesn't feel you jump on that because it's a shell.
It may feel the weight.
I mean, it noticed when my arrow bounced off its shell,
Yeah.
dude.
I want to see if I'm able to just kind of quickly jump onto the connecting part of the shell, and I want to grab from behind one of its stalks and swipe at it with my knife.
Last time you tried to bull ride the mollusk, that went poorly.
Last time I was completely holding on to the... I was like riding it, like this is me just kind of bracing it like a vine and trying to cut it. Like I'm standing on the shell.
Basically, you want to get close and take a swing at the eye stalk.
Yeah, I know my dagger might not be able to take it off, but
Yeah.
maybe I can start working on that.
Yeah,
Because if we can make it lose an eye, that'd be
great.
just great.
Okay, I think we can. You can make the attack, and if things go really well, like match well, then you'll be on the creature. If not, you will take a swipe at it without actually getting on top.
Okay, and this is the striking an unsuspecting foe.
Yeah. So which of those two bonuses do you want? +2 on the attempt or +2 on the damage?
It's so healthy right now. I think we need to try to go for the damage.
All right, so if you do pull off a hit, you will be dealing an additional 2 ticks of damage. All right, so let's see what happens here. You have the initiative, and you are attacking in close quarters. Roll Iron, which is a 1. But you do have a lot of momentum to burn. Ooh, but not that much.
The bot is not kind to us on
It
most
really
fight
isn't.
nights.
It really isn't. It knows.
I don't know if it would have mattered if I took the +2.
It wouldn't have.
It wouldn't have. Now, here's the thing.
Because that's
Here's
a
the thing.
10 and a 9.
Yeah.
If you burn momentum now, you can still take advantage of that extra 2 harm that you were going to do.
Oh, if I burn my 10 down to a 2.
Mm-hmm.
All right, hang on. I'm a veteran now.
That's true. That isn't a bonus. That is a bonus. Yes.
Take +1 momentum after I reset and add +1 when I make my next move.
Come here.
When you burn momentum to improve your result in combat, envision how your hard-won fighting experience gives you the upper hand.
Veteran mollusk fighter.
Well, I remember how riding the eye last time was not a good idea, so I know how better to
That's
balance
true.
on
That's
the back of this
perfect.
thing.
Playing off your experience. Now, also, once per fight, you can take initiative when you burn momentum to improve a miss to a weak hit, which is exactly what you would be doing, is you'd be turning it into a weak hit.
Yeah.
So you can retain initiative here if you want.
So I pretty much get the outcome without actually having to roll the dice for it because I'm using my ability to make it a weak hit.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that what we're doing?
I'm just in. I'm in, yeah.
All right. So, burning momentum to turn it into a weak hit. Weak hit normally does 2 harm. You're going to do an additional 4 harm, or an additional 2 harm for a total of 4. And you take an additional +1 momentum after the reset. You take back initiative because of your hard-won fighting experience. And you get a +1 on whatever your next move is.
Okay. And it's still my turn because I still have initiative and I'm the only one who does.
I mean, anybody can... We can shift spotlight to anyone. It's just they're going to be a sort of a defensive combatant.
Okay. So am I still in a position where... Did I manage to grab the eye stalk and take a swing at it, or did I just swipe at it as I jumped on?
You swiped at it, but you did not manage to get onto the creature.
Okay, so I'm still at its... It's no longer unsuspecting. It knows I'm there.
Yeah, it knows you're there. Now, if you want to play this off as like you sort of like stepping back away from the creature and maybe running over to help Torgan up, anything like that, or if you want to just like play this as no, you're just gonna like keep running alongside this thing, trying to hack at the eye stalk or something. However you want to play it off.
I have a functional question.
Okay.
So the order in which we're doing these things is important, since we have the creature effectively flanked, because it's going to affect who it's looking at when, quote-unquote, its turn arrives. I know we don't necessarily do distinct turns, but it's going to make a difference in this circumstance, who it has its back to.
How so?
Like, who is it walking? Like, who is it moving towards right now?
Whoever seems the coolest for it to be attacking right now. Like, that's literally how the rules work. Who would you like it to be going towards now? Like, if you want to make a move right now that's like, I'm going to heroically, like, fire an arrow to distract it away from chasing after Torgen, then sure, it was chasing after Torgen. But if it's like, okay, I want it, it's coming at me and I want to fire arrows at it head on as it gets closer, then yeah, it was heading for you right there. Like, it's a constantly shifting battlefield. Yeah.
I'm just trying to think through, what would be the next intelligent action for Serene to take.
Okay.
And it would kind of matter, because at one point it was facing me because I shot it, and it was like, oh, look, hey, it's you.
And then Torgen stepped in.
And now Glaine's attacked it, so it's like, I don't know where it's looking.
Where would you like it to be looking?
Well, I would prefer it to not be looking at me, so that I can make a strategic move.
Okay. Glane has just slashed its eye stalk, so it's probably swiveled its gaze around, giving you an opening of some kind. And although your positioning is not the best, you can still attempt to clash with this creature.
Well, I'm still up on my boulder.
You are, but you don't have the initiative, so something is unfavorable right now in some way.
Well, it knows what's unfavorable is that it knows that I'm there. It knows where I am. So I don't want to stay here for long.
Right.
Because I remember what getting the tree I was sitting in rammed felt like.
Yeah, it's happened
and
before.
I don't want to do that again. So I'm going to take one more shot while it's looking the other way.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to slide down the back side of the boulder opposite the molsk, and so that I'm out of sight, and then try to fall back to a better position.
I like it.
Okay. What am I rolling?
All right, so this will be a clash because that's the attack move when you don't have initiative. So that will be edge, which is your +2. Come on, bot. Okay, all right.
Not awful.
Not awful, not great. So you do manage to get the shot off, but something else unfavorable is going on here. So another 2 ticks on the molsk, making progress on sort of. You guys are peppering this thing with attacks. It's struggling to keep up, but it's angry. I think pay the price on this. It's gonna be doing something here. So you take advantage of it sort of turning its head to look away, its gaze to look away, but then you kind of, as soon as it does, it gets stung. It gets immediately punished for looking away from you. And so that is telling this creature, no, look back at that stinging creature up there. That's the one I want right there. And so this thing is going to be charging towards you. Now, Serene remembers the sheer amount of force, this freight train of mass moving towards her perch. So she has been in this position before. So she's prepared to dive backwards to get out of the way. Although that's not the only option here. Diving
Can I
forward
interject?
is also an option. So this is an agility maneuver here. Rolling edge.
May I interject before anything happens?
Absolutely. You have some ideas?
It just had my attention. I was right in front of it, and I saw it look at her, and start to take off. Am I at an angle, and is it at a speed at which I can try to get my second caltrope in front of it, throw it forward between them, try to give her some kind of advantage?
Okay, aid another.
Or is it just take off? And
No, that's
there's no
perfect.
hope.
That's perfect. Aid another move is secure an advantage on someone else's behalf.
And see, this is why having it flanked gives us a strategic advantage. Look at me! No, look at me! No, look at me! No, look at me!
So I think this is not so much a stealthy maneuver here right now. You're just trying to chuck it quickly. Let's go with speed and precision here. You're trying to aim this thing just right. So we're gonna have Glane roll Iron Roll 2 for edge, and this is on Serene's behalf. Oh no, that did not work. And now your caltrops are, they're sort of embedded in the forest floor. You're not going to be able to grab those again without some time to actually work at them. These have some heft to them, and the sort of half biodegraded plant matter all around that this mollusk's excretions has created is sort of just like landing in mud.
They are in play now. Like if it
they're out
backtracks.
there. They're out there, but they're in sort of obvious locations. You're not going to catch this thing off guard again with these.
Yeah.
Question. Do we still have any of that oil?
Yes.
I still have a couple oil arrows. I think we decided I still have 3.
And I still have the flint, so maybe it's time we do something together.
I still have a vial of it, or did I use those up?
Is it time to start setting stuff on fire again?
Maybe it is.
I feel like individually we haven't been doing much of anything, but maybe it's time for a combo.
We're a little bit over. It's a little over half dead.
It's at the point where we were piecing out last time.
Yeah. I think first off, Serene needs to get out of harm's way. She's about to be bowled over if she can't dodge this. Are you going to try and like slide back behind the rock for cover, or are you going to try and basically like leap over the mollusk shell to kind of disorient?
I'm gonna go behind the rocks and hope that, because that'll put me in shadow if nothing else.
That's true. Kind of hidden away from the creature, hopefully giving you a chance to get into position for another fight.
And now that I actually know about Glane's abilities, she's getting thoughts in her head about, shadows are a good place to be.
As it turns out. Yeah. So
we didn't know
calling
about
that
that yet
out.
last time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Serena's going to face danger with agility. So let's get an edge roll. So Serene rolling Iron Roll 2. Hey, a strong hit. Successful.
So here's what happens.
Okay. Lay it on me.
So I'm going to. So it's looking at me. I make sure it sees me. Like, hey, look, I'm on top of this rock. So I then kind of squat down and kind of start sliding down the back of this boulder on the moss. And once I get a little bit closer to the ground, I'm going to kind of launch myself to the left, kind of off the backside of the rock into the tree line, and kind of take a tumble so that I can kind of land on my feet behind a tree, and it should not have been able to see that motion.
Okay, so Serene has
not only am
managed
to... Not only am I not behind the rock, even if it were to, be able to, I don't know, budge the rocks, I'm not behind the rocks to get squished.
Exactly.
And it no longer knows where I am.
Yes. So Serene basically somersaults from this rock through the forest floor and takes up a strong position behind this tree. Now, she's still sort of hiding from this creature. So initiative is not in her favor, but the creature has kind of lost her. And this is represented by momentum, super high for Serene right now. So she can kind of get away with like a free hit, barring any 10s. Okay. So this creature sort of crashes into the rock, just sort of body slams it. The whole boulder shifts. You hear like the actual stone cracking and crumbling in places from just the sheer force of it. The mollusk itself seems like it didn't feel a thing in that. And it's gazing up at the top of the rocks. It sees that this little stinging creature that was hopping around is gone. So satisfied, it turns its gaze to more direct threats, sort of feeling a little bit as though it's kind of getting a bit cornered. And so it's just ready to strike hard and fast. So what happens next here? We were talking about oil, I think.
Yeah, so Serene's going to take a moment now that she has a good hiding spot to ready a fire arrow, one of her oiled arrows.
Mm-hmm.
And
I would like to throw her my flint.
Well, you don't know where I am either. But
You're
I know
pretty far away from her.
I know approximately what direction you got flung in, because I had a good vantage point to see that happen. So I might be scouting. I might be kind of playing hopscotch between trees to try and get to Torgen.
Would you like to use your secure an advantage, your archer aiming ability?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do that.
All right. Taking a moment to aim. Securing an advantage here. Trusting your instincts, which is wits.
Iron roll 3.
Okay. A weak hit. Still a weak hit. Which means on secure an advantage, that means that you get a +1 on your momentum. Well, you're tapped out already, so. But you can clash here.
And I can take the plus. No, I can't take the +1.
No, you just have edge for a roll of iron roll 2. This is with a flaming arrow at this point.
I don't have access to
just an oiled arrow.
Well, I probably have flint. That's something that's pretty basic to carry, right?
It's not out of the question.
Yeah, we're gonna make the oily arrow a fiery arrow, and then
and hope for the best.
We're gonna get it, if not embedded in the mollusk's immediate vicinity. And fire's nice, and that it tends to once something starts burning, generally stays that way.
So you're waiting for the mollusk to sort of turn from the boulder, waiting for it to kind of get that line of sight, and then as soon as it's available, you let loose your arrow. You inflict your harm successfully, but pay the price. So, all right, flaming arrow. It's forest floor, pine needles.
Yeah.
I think the terrain is
I
changing
need
a
to
bit
continue moving.
here.
I need
Yeah,
to continue moving.
yeah. Those sparks, that has left a trail of flames, as the flaming oil has sort of just left a trail of light, small embers in the forest floor, but with all the fallen pine needles in this area, that has quickly turned into a bit of a line of fire across the ground here. So things are heating up in this fight.
Okay.
All right, so that's something at least. Things are changing a bit. Torgan, we got to get Torgan back over here.
Yeah, so she's gonna continue, or yeah, her next intention is to continue moving, to try and she's actually gonna go back towards the rock and go around the other way to try and get back to Torgan.
Okay, so she's making a dash towards Torgan to kind of help him out. He's still just he got hit hard. You know, he might have cracked a rib or two, but he's still in the fight. But he's in rough shape. So Serene dashes across, gets over to Torgan. The mollusk is sort of still kind of getting its bearings. It's seen like fires starting now. So it doesn't see Serene kind of dashing past.
It's burning in its flesh.
There's a little bit of a singeing, a searing pain on one side. Whatever this creature's nervous system acts like, it might be a little bit sluggish. But Serene gets over to Torgan and kind of helps Torgan get back up on his feet. So Torgan sort of collects himself. He kind of straightens out, gets his sword and shield back up. Sees that creature is still sort of flailing about.
Maybe wipe the gunk off his shield so that it's not.
That's true. Just kind of shake that off a little bit, brush it across the pine needles, just so there's less chance of contamination there.
Something exposed. So let's.
We can't hear you, Turtle.
I want to chop off its tail.
All right, Torgan's ready to rush in there.
And I can roll now.
Hey, that's good. Okay. All right, so Torgan is gonna move in to clash here. That is gonna be a iron roll with iron, so a +2. So, Serene, you help Torgan up, but he immediately springs back, just full of rage against this creature.
Oh, no.
Now, Torgan's got enough momentum to make that into a weak hit.
I do want to do that, yes.
Okay, so he can still at least... he can still manage to inflict harm on this thing. But pay the price, and your foe has initiative. So, Torgan rushes forward, slashing at the back of this massive creature. But as he does, although he manages to carve into the creature's thick, leathery hide, the creature now realizes, more things that are trying to hurt. I'm gonna crush it. And so Torgan is now in a position where he's kind of like center of attention here. And I'm gonna wreck it. And let's see, pay the price. I think Torgan is now really out of position. He charged in almost recklessly, just blinded with rage and just a lust for revenge on this creature. But now he's found himself nice and neatly sandwiched between a mollusk and a wall of fire that is starting to spread. And so now he's sort of the spread of this oil fire inflicted forest fire is starting to spread out around where the molsk is. And so Torgon is kind of starting to get a little bit pinned down position-wise. Now, let's swing back over to Glane over here, who does have initiative. Not in a position to get to use his cutthroat ability, but has the initiative and therefore able to strike fairly easily, at least.
Yes. I think that we did establish that I had at least one vial of oil on me.
Yes.
Okay. Is the molsk in a position where some angle of it is either on fire or very exposed to it?
We'll say it's within some small distance. The creature itself is not on fire. Very difficult for it to sort of catch with this sort of mucusy hide.
There might still be an arrow on fire sticking out of it.
That's reasonable.
If I were to get this vial and throw it into the closest flame, would it act as an explosive to blast towards the creature?
Yes, absolutely.
Combustible enough, like a little grenade.
Absolutely.
I'm going to keep my chemistry brain quiet.
There's no place for that here.
This is the world of fantasy and happiness.
This is the
we will have no
universe where
learning.
all cars blow up, etc., etc.
Also, we're going to pretend that it won't kill me because I'm clearly really close to the molsk.
Oh, I'm not gonna. Yeah, the molsk body is gonna take the brunt of the boom.
Yeah, it's obvious. You're obviously shielded by the molsk itself.
This is all science.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Remind me in the after game. I have a story to tell y'all about about friendly fire.
All right.
So what do I roll for this?
So this is going to be a strike at... I'm going to say this is at range. So you're going to roll edge, so iron roll 2. Oh, weak hit. All right. But you lose initiative as a result. So you do manage at least to inflict the harm. There is this... there's a flash of light as the fire sort of immediately spreads out over the creature's hide on one side of it. And it's sort of, it is actually just burning now on one side of the creature's head. This massive slug-like head. Eye stalk sort of spasming out a bit, trying to escape the flames just on instinct. And so as a result, you've sort of disoriented the creature. It's not sure where to attack, but you have lost the initiative. What does that look like here? I mean, for one thing, no more oil. You've spent that. I think now, you know what? I think now that the flames have spread even farther. As a sort of perhaps an effect of how the creature's trail was positioned in this area, whether the creature's trail sort of combusts more easily or is a deterrent, in some way that has created this ring of flames around where you are fighting, and you're now pinned in between the creature and the fire. And so nobody has initiative now.
Of interest, guys, we're at 8.5 out of 10 on damage. We're in the neighborhood of starting to be able to end the fight.
Somebody's got to hit a strong hit first.
Who's got momentum to do that?
One
Me.
person. Serene. Is it time?
Is she going to have an easier time to do it the closer to the end it is?
I mean, we could try and land one more attack before, but
Well, you have to land a strong hit before you can end the fight. So
Well, that's
Right,
what that 10
like-
momentum is for.
yeah, exactly.
Like- But the Molsk being at 8.5 damage, would she have an easier roll if it was at 9.5?
The in the
Or is
fight.
Is end the fight just end the
Yes.
fight?
Well, in the fight will be. So, you can ignore the halves. It's going to be a progress roll, which means, like, if let's say you just made a strong hit, and we were saying, okay, we're going to end the fight now at 8. What that would mean is that we're going to roll 2 d10s, and both of those need to be less than 8 for it to be a strong hit on the battle.
So
Now,
if it's maxed out or further down the damage path, it's easier to kill.
Yes, but
Yeah.
realistically, the
Okay.
very next hit is going to deal at least enough damage to bump it up to a 9.
Okay, so I think it's time for Serene to put another arrow in this thing.
Okay. Would this be a time to use perhaps a poison arrow?
Sure, yeah, let's go for it.
Considering that extra harm would be enough.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay.
That sounds like a good plan.
We've used 0 of them, and you packed them for this occasion.
Yes. So, that's a edge roll for me?
It is.
How could this possibly not work out?
Ugh.
Don't
Double
ask that
tens,
question.
Double tens. Okay, so this is going to be an edge roll with Clash. So, the 3 of you pin down the creature surrounded by flames.
And half on fire.
It's a cornered creature. It's ready to just kill with reckless abandon. So the creature begins just with considerable effort. It's just burst into with its speed, just bearing down on all 3 of you. There, sort of back against the flames. So Serene chooses her arrow and knocks it. Carefully aims and unleashes the shot.
That's actually a 10.
Yes.
Okay, burning momentum, turning that
Yep.
into a strong hit.
I mean, it was a weak hit, which
Now
would
it's
have been fine,
we
but
need the
now it's a
strong
strong hit.
Yeah. All
I
right,
just stepped on my cat. Oops.
dealing the
End it.
4 ticks.
End it.
Okay, end the fight, please.
All right, here we
End it.
go.
Turtle.
We are coup de grace the Molsk.
Now
an
here's the
arrow.
thing. I just want to remind everyone, we're rolling 2 d10s.
Dobbs, don't you dare.
We need 9 or less. There it is.
The Molsk is dead.
It's dead.
The poison killed it.
With one
The arrow lodged
final
in
arrow. Flames licking at your backs. The Molsk bearing down. Serene takes her stance, grabs one specially chosen arrow, aims carefully, and unleashes it as the Molsk charges. The arrow
poison arrow.
flies true straight into the creature's head. Whatever bizarre vital organs that creature possesses are skewered, and the creature immediately is dead. It grinds to a halt in front of you, all that momentum carrying it through the pine needles. Stepping aside quickly, sort of grabbing each other to pull out of the way. The creature slides right through the flames, clearing a path of earth through that wall of fire.
We're all looting this one.
The forest is silent again, save for the crackling of the flames and a few distant calls of birds.
We gotta find those eggs.
Torgan, hang on. I got an idea. These things are supposed to be able to be used and domesticated. We've got eggs that have not hatched, that if we can get them back to town, they can be used for those purposes.
You want to try to tame the most babies?
I'm not going to tame them. They're going to hatch in a controlled environment. They've been used like that before, domestically.
Yeah, as long as you don't let them get more than 5 or 6 months old, they're still pretty easy to handle.
Yeah, you just, put them on the farm, and then when they get to 6 months old, you beat them over the head with a rock. And
these things are better off extinct. I do not want these things roaming around for this to happen again.
Just think of the most knowing that its children worked for the people that killed it. We're taking it back.
Oh, this is a terrible idea.
I'm just throwing ideas out before we go cracking eggs. We've used up all of our fire. We have no fire to burn these eggs with.
This is the first time that I am advocating for an egg wash. Please, egg wash.
We'll kill all but one of them.
No! Salt the earth. Dead, gone.
Is there anything I can chip off this mollusk that is a trophy of killing it? The gland that it uses to make its slime, a part of its shell, anything?
I mean, with some work, you could probably chip off a piece of its shell.
I mean, it did body slam a giant boulder.
Yeah, it is not easy to break, and it's extremely thick. But with some, I mean, you can mine through rock given enough time, so you may as well be able to mine through this.
I want its eyeball. I am hacking off its eyeball and taking it with me.
Done. It takes longer than you would have liked because you wanted to take it with like this adrenaline and rage coursing through you. But then you actually get to cutting, and it is like trying to cut through wet leather, and it's extremely slow and difficult to cut. And by the time you actually get through it, you've kind of lost the energy and rage. But you have it.
Serene's just going to take a step back and make a quick sketch in her journal of this slain mollusk and take some notes about the battle so that she can make some epic poetry later.
Reasonable, yeah.
All right, so we've got our party favors. Let's go find these eggs.
All right.
Should we be worried about this fire in the middle of the forest?
That's fine.
Like, is there water nearby? Should we do something about this? Or is it because the mollusk goop kind of acted as a natural flame retardant, kind of creating this trapped circle? Is it going to more or less just contain itself?
Serene takes a bit of time to examine the situation and determines that all but a few spots should burn out on their own safely, and she deals with the remaining spots.
Okay, because I don't want to, burn down an entire forest. That seems,
un-elf-like.
Yeah. That seems like a bad plan.
The fire should have followed the trail all the way back to wherever the eggs are, and they shouldn't be on fire already. That's probably too far for it to go.
Yeah.
I think that's pushing your luck a little far.
Yeah. You spend a few hours tracing back the trail, cautiously and with considerably less tension in the air.
I need to take a second and patch up Torgan before we get to wandering too far.
Not a bad idea, honestly.
Couldn't hurt.
All right, so let's see here. Roll wits.
I need my herbalist abilities.
Yes, as an herbalist. Let's see here. When you attempt to heal, and you have at least +1 supply, which you do, you can either add +2 to this roll, or heal an additional +1 on a hit.
The way the dice have been behaving tonight, and I have no momentum, let's take +2 to the roll.
Pretty good idea. So that'll be a +5. Serena's been carefully gathering more information during her travels, and as a result, has become more adept at her healing. Look at that.
Oh, and
Ooh,
it's a match.
That was a little bit close, too.
I think this is the first time that's worked. Is this the first time I've actually been healed by Serene?
No.
Has this worked before?
Maybe
I've
the
gotten
first time it's been a strong hit before.
I've gotten several weak hits before.
Oh, you are improving on your medic abilities.
Yes, yeah.
Because I took that asset.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it represents, is that the experience you've gained in your travels, game-wise, is represented by, the extra bonuses you're getting on certain rolls through gaining new assets. So Serene needs a few quick herbs she finds, so she has to run aside. She sees a patch of a certain type of a bush growing just around that tree there, and lo and behold, she finds that right there is the eggs you've been searching for. Before dealing with them, she patches up Torgan, who is feeling much better. A little bit of pain-suppressing effects of some of the plants that she kind of grinds up, forms a nice concoction.
Salve.
Yes, and Torgan is feeling much better after his episode. He'll still need plenty of time to rest. Those ribs aren't going to uncrack themselves overnight.
Does Torgan want to return to Halo instead of being Gears for War?
Yes. I don't see why not.
All right.
So as we're wandering along trying to find these eggs, I'm like, oh hey look, there's that bush. That would help heal Torgan. Let me go grab some of this real quick. Let's take a break, guys. And I just happened to notice that, oh, those look like musk eggs.
Perfect.
Over here behind this bush I needed. Anyway.
Yes. You make short work of the eggs. They are scrambled.
Smushy smush
Yes.
smush.
Smushy smush smush.
Washed away.
Mission accomplished? Return to Greatfield?
We gotta head back to town and get our experience. I think we vowed to do this.
Yes.
We did.
Ages ago. You return to Greatfield, following the familiar path, and upon arriving, holding aloft the eye, the severed eye stalk, even at a distance, it's unmistakable sign of victory, of seeing the three of you returning with a triumphant pose, that you can hear cheers from a distance as you approach the settlement of Greatfield. I think that means that you have fulfilled your vow. Wait, we have to roll for it.
Oh no. Not only did we kill the moles, but we killed its second round of babies you don't even know about. But
Okay,
hang on, there's more.
I was gonna say there better not be anything more to that quest.
There better not be a yeah but associated with this.
No, you did it. That was a what was that one? That was a formidable quest. Earning you each 3 experience points.
We already had one banked, right?
Yes, that brings you all to having 4 available, which could mean a new asset entirely or 2 upgrades to existing assets. And you have a lot of existing assets.
Oh my god.
We'll have to do some research between now and next Monday.
I think I already know one of the things that Glenn is going to be taking.
Hey,
Yes, I
and
can-
guys, guess what? Season 1 didn't end tonight.
Hey!
That could have been it right there.
I had the craziest end game plan if this went bad. Oh my god.
I mean, I'm satisfied with it ending in a fight within a circle of fire against a final boss.
Just very anime vibes in the,
Oh, yeah.
in the imagery.
As the camera pulled out of the forest from the overhead shot, the fire is a spiral, that of a snail shell. As the helicopter flies away.
Uh-huh. Perfect. That's it, guys. It's dead. You're successful. and
Turtle,
that
we did
means
it.
That means that
Turtle?
I'm sure he's around. He's muted. That means
He's been
that
talking about it all week.
next episode we can continue the journey to the Northwood, which will hopefully put us back on track to look at some of these background vows. Yeah, those are really there for flavor. You're not ever intended to actually, or you're not expected to make much progress on those ever. That's more of just to keep the game moving.
I'm doing a great job of doing that.
Oh yeah, look at that, look at that progress. Well, all right, that's it. Oh, there he is. No. Nice.
Well, it let me do 9 last week.
Well, yeah, because 9 is technically achievable. You'd have to have all the stars aligning, but it's possible. Well, that is it for episode 11 of DobbsQuest.
Hooray! Clapping noises, applause.
Success. Everyone's still alive, surprisingly. So, thank you.
Hey, I mean, the lowest members at a 4.
There's a lot of cries of despair coming from all the betting houses across the Ironlands. A lot of people owe money tonight.
always bet on team, whatever team you are.
Team DobbsQuest, obviously.
Team yeah, of course. Strange name.
This was a tough night because, I couldn't even see what was going on. And, thank God it's gone.
I mean,
You'll have to watch the VOD.
You
Every
had
one
to
of your
deal
rolls
with-
was a mess.
You had to deal with like someone making a roll on your behalf, and then you just hear, "Oh no!"
We were trying.
That's exactly what it was. I was sitting there listening. I was like, I hear, oh God, or GQ laughing, and I'm like, oh well, that's bad. That's not good.
I was trying to make a point to tell you what was happening, but I don't think I did too good a job of that.
It's all right. All in all, I think it went great. So, everyone, thank you for joining us tonight. Again, next week we will pick back up with episode 12, where we continue on our previous quest, traveling to the Northwoods, the Deep Woods to the north, where we are going to be hopefully kind of chipping away at Serene's background vow, as she works to discover the mysteries of the elves of the Ironlands.
And, hopefully we'll find an elven craftsman that can do something with those wyvern fangs for Lane.
Oh, yes. That too.
Yep.
Well, all right. That is it for the stream. Let's see. All right. None of the normal crew. Well, because most of the normal crew is live right now here. So, no raid tonight. Everyone have a wonderful rest of the week. Thank you for joining us, and hopefully we will see you next time. Good night.